Hi, my name is Tricia. I work in the Center for Academic Success. I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking about the answer to the question, so I've taken a test. Now what? So sometimes when we get tests back, we're happy with the results. We did a good job, and that's fantastic. But sometimes we get those grades back and it didn't go so well. So rather than go through this cycle of beating yourself up, I challenge you to do something constructive and concrete. And this is one of the things you could do. It's called analyzing test results, and then you change your academic behavior based on that. So remember when you take a test, it's the grade you receive is a measure of not just your knowledge here and your ability to apply that knowledge, but also, did you understand the question? Do you have good test taking skills? Are you comfortable and confident in taking tests? And sometimes it's not just the material, it's some of those other things too. So the next step is to really look at what questions you did right, because I think it's important to celebrate your successes rather than focusing just on the failures. So if you did well on something, then you need to say, good job. You did well, not, oh, that was easy and that's why I did well. No, own that success, because we tend to own our failures too. So we get to own our successes as well. So first thing you can do is look at what you've done wrong. And that's important because feedback is a very integral part of the learning process. We need to know what we did well on and what we didn't do so well on. So what you can do is first identify, what was wrong? What did you do that made your answer incorrect? It's pretty easy for multiple choice tests and fill in the blank tests. You didn't choose the right letter. But for a missed essay question or a math problem, that might be a little more, might take a little more research to get at, what did I miss? Why was it wrong? Then the next step you'll want to do is really focus on the why. Why'd you make the mistake? So why is it wrong? And then you organize a plan of action to essentially try to prevent yourself from making similar mistakes in the future. Some of these errors can be knowledge errors. They can be English errors, like misreading the question or not seeing one of those qualifier words like not or only. That's pretty common. Lack of test taking skills in general. And sometimes it's test anxiety that rears its ugly head. So what I'd like to challenge you to do is on your next test that you get back, look at everything that you've done wrong and categorize each thing. Was it a knowledge error? And here's some specifics. Maybe you didn't study sufficiently. Maybe you learned it, but you just didn't retain it. Maybe you knew the information, but you just didn't know how to apply it. Maybe it wasn't included in your class notes. Maybe it was in your textbook and you missed it. Maybe you didn't know about an assignment or you've forgotten about a critical assignment, so you just didn't get the information. Maybe you didn't read it and reinforce your knowledge in your class notes. Maybe you didn't understand something about the figure or the diagram, or you didn't know the formula or the equation. And so those are very specific things you can do rather than just in general beating yourself up. Like, what was it about the question that you didn't know? And then as far as English errors, maybe you didn't read the question right. Maybe you didn't know some of the other words in the sentence or the question. Maybe it was your test taking skills. Maybe you missed some of the directions or you didn't read them carefully enough. Maybe you skipped over part of the question to get to the answer. Sometimes our anxiety can do that to us. Maybe you didn't read or consider all the choices. Maybe you just chose the first one that sounded good, but maybe it wasn't the best answer. This one's pretty common. Perhaps you change the right answer to wrong answers. That happens so much. People second guess themselves and end up switching the answers. Maybe you didn't see or read all of the questions. Maybe you read too deeply into the question. Maybe you weren't just taking it at face value. Maybe you were making it more complicated than it actually needed to be. And as far as test anxiety goes, sometimes that can have an impact on your ability to perform on the test. So, some quick guidance is don't study right up to when the test starts. Give yourself a few minutes before the test to really just think and clear your mind of all the clutter. Maybe do some breathing exercises if you know those, and just sort of kind of quiet your mind so that you can actually think and do the best that you can on the test. So as far as a plan of action goes, that's really, changing your academic behavior. How can you change the way that you study in order to prevent yourself from falling into the same mistakes again and again in the future? So I challenge you, after you take a test, go through each question that you missed and ask yourself what kind of error it was. And I think a pattern will start to emerge. And you'll be able to come up with some ideas for changing your approach to studying. You'll see, oh, I'm missing these things in my notes, or I'm not getting enough out of the textbook, or I am reading through the questions too quickly, or I didn't see that word. I really think a pattern's going to start to emerge. But, if it doesn't emerge on your own, that's what we're here for. That's what the Center for Academic Success is here for. And we can really help you with that. So I invite you to do this constructive, concrete thing after you get your test back in order to do better on your next one. So before I go, I just wanted to tell you that this was adapted from Fred Drews. So thank you to Fred Drews and Kristen Mulligan, who wrote How to Study Science. But this can certainly be used. This strategy can be used for more than just science classes. So good luck and be well. Bye.